Hi amazing people, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Guys, today's vlog is like so it's so personal to me, as in I'm so attached to it. But at the end of the day, we have to share and people have to learn what goes on in hospitals. So guys, today I'm going to jazz you with my story about Nicu. Nicu, that is neonatal intensive care unit where babies are taken. So me as a preterm mom, I'm going to share my experience in Nicu, and I hope someone is going to learn about it. Or maybe if you know you have ever been to Nicu, kindly drop your comment down below. Let me know what you experience. Let's share these experiences. Even mothers who are about to give birth, they can learn one or two things when they maybe happen to reach there and something happened to them and their children have to be taken to Nicu. At least they have an idea of what happens to Nicu. So guys, I gave birth on 13th February. That's when my baby came. I broke my water very early at around 2:30 a.m. in the morning on 13th February. And I was taken in for emergency surgery. So guys, this is my story after giving birth. So after my gainer finished with me and I was taken to recovery room, my baby was taken to Nicu, that is neonatal intensive care unit, to be watched and being taken care of on other medical issues. So guys, as a preterm mom, I didn't know much about the hospital. So me, I thought after giving birth, my baby is going to be dressed with the clothes that I'd brought in, but little did I know that was not going to happen. So I was taken to the recovery room, and then later, after some few hours, when I started feeling myself back, like my body, I could feel my body back, I was taken to the ward where I was admitted. Guys, I slept in my ward for 2 days. I was feeling so drowsy and I was so sleepy. I think it was the side effect of the medicine, and yeah, I had to breathe there. So I stayed in the ward for all those days, for like 2 days, and my husband by then was taking care of the baby, like going and seeing the baby, how the baby is progressing and how the baby was being treated. So for him, he had a watch over the baby. When I was in the ward, trying to catch up with my life, and because I was so sleepy, like so sleepy. So guys, the first day, because I gave birth at around 5:45 p.m. So I slept that whole time because I was leaving the recovery room at around midnight, at around 11 or 12. Yeah, at around 12, that's when I was leaving the recovery room. So I slept a lot. I slept, and all the people had come to visit me. My husband was there, my sister-in-law was there, my brother was there, my sister-in-law was there, my other sister-in-law, that is, and a few friends were there also. They joined us in celebrating our baby. So they came, saw me, we had to catch up a little bit. I was trying to force myself to be awake to talk to them because I was so excited. I'm a mom. But at the same time, they would see I'm struggling, like I want to talk to them. But now they understood me and they left me to sleep. So I slept. The next day still, I didn't wake up because I was still feeling drowsy. And my wound also was bleeding, but not so much. But it was not bleeding. My wound was painful. Yeah, it was painful. And I was being given some drips, so I couldn't leave to go and see my baby. So my husband was doing that for me. So he was going and checking on the baby and then come and give me the information. So fast forward, the next day, on the second day, that's when I was able to go and see the baby. So he came and told me that, now you as a mom, you're supposed to be going to the nursery all the time and be taking care of baby J, and be seeing him, bond with him, try to feed him and everything. So I was so scared because I didn't know I didn't have an expectation of how a nursery looks like. But now I was like, do people go there every day? Like, will I not be asked if I go there? Because I was like, no, you go, have time with your baby, bond with your baby, treat your baby well, show some love, and can go and do all whatever you want to do with your baby, but you're not allowed to leave the baby with you from that room. And I was okay, fine. So the first day he took me to the nursery, introduced me to the nurses who are there. They're amazing nurses in Coptic. Hala, they're so good, guys. I was treated very, very well. And I appreciate the support that they gave me. So guys, the first day I went to nursery, I saw the nurse. I was introduced to the nurses, but there is a senior nurse, and I was asked, "Who is your baby?" And that was not the first day that I met my baby. Like I saw my baby. JJ was put under machines that they could help him with oxygen and grow his lungs. But by the time I was going there, the second day, still he was under the machine, but I couldn't stay there for long with him because he was under under heavy machines. So I couldn't stay there with him. So I was told to go back to the room and try rest and take some rest and have my time as I wait for Jay to be removed in the machines. So that day I didn't go much to nursery, and now that day when I went to the nursery, I met my baby was put some pipe on the nose and another one on the mouth, and now that way started hitting me hard that seriously my baby couldn't feed. My baby had some pipe to help him breathe, and he couldn't feed, like completely feed. So I felt sorry for him, but now I didn't have a choice. I just held his hands to see. Like, I didn't believe I have a baby. Like, seriously, I didn't believe I've given birth. I didn't believe I have a baby. And I didn't believe on what God had done for my life. Like, changing my narrative, changing my story from whatever people were thinking about me being barren. And now I'm here, I'm a mom. I was so excited. So I was told you can carry your baby, and I was so shocked. The baby was too small. Okay, having given birth at 2 kg, but I felt my baby was too small because of all the things that were around him. The kind of bandage head, something was put on his head, and then the pipes everywhere, and then he had something on the head. Truly made me feel so shattered, and I was scared to carry him. I was so scared to carry him. I thought I will hurt him or make him fall because he was so tiny, but he was tall. So I carried him. I felt so good in my heart. I was trying to catch him, like, is it a reality? Is it real that I have this baby? So that day went on like that, and then I was told by the nurses to give milk. I didn't have milk, even a single drop of it. I didn't have milk, despite trying to pump the milk, but nothing was coming out. So, and my boobs were so swollen. They had milk, but no, they were painful, but there was no milk. My baby couldn't, like, breastfeed because he didn't have the reflexes, the mouth reflexes to notify him that he needs to breastfeed. So days went on. Like, it was hard for me. Like, it was truly hard for me to be there, but every day I had to wake up and go to the nursery, stay with my baby, carry him, talk to him. And one funny thing is that every day I went there, my head never hit that you can do things for your own baby, So I was going there, sit there, look at him, like call him JJ, and then I was calling him my husband's father. I was calling him to funny names, but one day I asked the nurse, can I like change my baby the diaper? He was like, oh sure, go ahead, sanitize your hands, and you can go ahead and change the baby, carry the baby, have time with your baby. So that's the day that I started like interacting with my baby because I was so scared. That's when I started interacting with my baby. I would carry him, I would change him some diapers. I'd learned a lot on how to hold the legs and change the diapers, how to wipe and everything. So I was doing all these things for my baby, and I was feeling so well. And then with time, I saw him grow. Like, he was growing up. Every day he was growing. There was an improvement in body size, but now the feeding was a problem. As I've told you, my baby didn't have the feeding reflexes. Even if you could put the nipple on his mouth, my baby couldn't detect that a nipple, that he should open his mouth and breastfeed. Or even if we force the nipple, even if we force the nipple in his mouth, he wouldn't like suck because he didn't have the reflexes at all, and the jaws were not so well grown, so he couldn't like move the jaw up and down to suck. Also, that now started traumatizing my mind, and I would see other kids in the nursery, they could feed well, they were sucking well and everything. And then another thing that made me feel so shattered was that my baby could only consume 40 ml. Guys, I thought 40 ml was a lot until the day I saw my baby being given 40 ml with a syringe, and there was another baby besides us who was being given like 120 ml, and I'm like, oh no, I truly did have to work. So my baby was so skinny, my baby was so small. It haunted me. Okay, it haunted so much. I couldn't have done anything. And now coming to think about it, my baby was being given none. And he didn't like it. Like, he didn't like it. But at the other side, I have to force myself and have milk for my baby. So my sister came in one day and told me, you know what, we need to stop choking. So what we have to do, I have to force you. We have to force for milk. So my sister fed me with so much hot chocolate. And guys, I was using cocoa. I was using cocoa for to get milk. So my sister told me, as I wash around your boob and pump the milk for you, we're going to squeeze. Now you're going to milk like the way you milk the cow, you know. So I'm going to milk. We're going to press your boobs until it gives us milk to give the baby. We need to be serious on this, guys. The experience was so painful. I never thought that would happen. I hear people say, women say, Ati, I press milk for my baby, like I come for my baby. And I'm like, how even do you do that with your hand? Like, how do you even press your boob until then? But that day, I saw it in real, and we did that because of baby J. So as she was pressing and getting milk from my booby, I was feeding. I was like taking hot substances, I was only feeding as she does that. She's a nurse, so she knew what she was doing. And that was the first milk that we took to baby, and the nurses were so happy about it. So I was encouraged to do that so more often. So I had a pump, but the pump I had was manual and it was not giving me a vibe. So we had to buy an electric pump that would help me extract a lot of milk at once. So we did that. We had to extract milk, and then I could be taking it to the nursery, and we could be told to label it. So we were shown how to label our bottles and then take them to the nursery and put them in a freezer. Take them to the freezer, and then the nurses could come around and give the baby the milk. So in the verge of that, that was the only thing that was killing me. That was the only thing that was killing me, feeding my baby. So my son would be put under some therapy. There is a doctor who used to come to do the reflexes, and truly my son didn't like it. All the time he was being done the reflex thing, the therapy that was being done on the jaws, on this part of the shin, the shin and the jaws, and the neck massage, the one the baby was being done for. For me, it was feeling as if it was so painful, like painful, because my baby would cry. Sometimes he would keep quiet, but sometimes he would cry. And you see, in fact, it's so painful. And once he's done that therapy, my baby couldn't feed for like in the next 2 or 3 hours. He wouldn't feed at all. But after some time, he would catch up and improve. So that's what I didn't understand. But my husband was telling me, oh, this thing is being done for the better for the baby. And, you know, you should accept and take it positively. But for me, I was feeling pain on his behalf because I didn't want to see him have much more pain than whatever he has gone through in his life. So all the time he was being done the therapy, and now I was being taught on how to hold the baby and how to help the baby latch and feed the baby and do all that. The next time we were taught on how to wash the baby and everything. So in a span of like 2 weeks, I'd learned everything about not 2 weeks. In a span of some few days, I'd learned everything to do with the baby, how you're supposed to hold the baby, how you're supposed to change, how you're supposed to do all that. But now my problem was feeding my baby. That thing traumatized me. My baby was not breastfeeding. That was my major thing that made me feel shattered. And guys, I didn't know that's how my depression started, because I would sit down and think about this baby who doesn't want to breastfeed. And I would cry, My emotions were all over, scattered everywhere. I would cry so much. And my husband was always telling me, so even if you cry, if you have the baby, so if you break down and start crying, you're going to affect the baby. So you and the baby are connected, you're one. So if you start being emotional and cry, how are you going to help the baby? But for me, he didn't feel what I was feeling. I know he was right that I shouldn't cry, but whatever I was feeling in my heart was so emotional that my baby is not feeding. What if I lose my baby because of hunger and everything? So I was everywhere. So I would take my baby, put him on my nipple, but nothing. He was not feeding. So one day I got so pissed off. My baby was being given milk with a syringe, but still he couldn't take it. He was given with a cup, still he didn't want to feed it. He would just feed small and then burp it out. And I was feeling like all these things are happening to me. I don't know. And I was asking God, God, why now? You gave me a baby to take care of, to change my life, but now here I am in the nursery. My baby can't breastfeed, my baby can't feed with anything. Oh God, just come and intervene for me. And now that day I was seated there and I told one of the nurses came and I was like, nurse, I want to try and feed my baby the whole day. I don't want the baby to be given milk. So I put my baby on the boob and tried to feed, but my baby was sucking just small quantity, and then the rest they could top up with a syringe. So he would feed like that until I didn't know where all these words came from. And I told the nurse, do you know what? I'm going to take this baby and swallow my baby back in the tummy and run out of this hospital. What are you guys going to do me? I was confronting them and asked them, what will you do to me? I want to swallow my baby and take my baby back to the stomach and leave this hospital. And the nurses would tell me, Pauline, calm down. Or they try talking to me and I'm like, don't tell me anything. My baby is not feeding. So what's the need of him being here? He should go back where he came from. He should go back to my tummy and stay there until the day the day he feels that he wants to breastfeed, I will remove him back. So one of the nurses told me, Pauline, come, I want to talk to you. I was taken back to the room and I was told to stay there and not to leave the room. I stayed there and rest because, guys, I was getting to the room at 3 a.m. I would go to sleep at 3 a.m. and by 6 a.m. I'm up, I'm in the nursery going to feed my baby, and I'll stay almost the whole day, and you could meet my lunch, my dinner, and everything. They are crashing on the table because I was not there. I was in the nursery and my legs were swelling up, like seriously swelling up. So in the verge of that week now, everything started traumatizing me. I see new babies come in, they're big, they look healthy. My baby is here small, my baby is not breastfeeding, my baby has to undergo phototherapy, my baby has to undergo I don't know what. Everything was like my baby. And every day when my baby's doctor came in, I would ask, Doc, are there hopes? I want to leave this hospital, I want to go to the baby. And he was like, no, Pauline, you're not going with this baby. I'm not letting this baby out until he gets to 2 kg. Guys, one thing I didn't tell you is that my baby reduced the weight or cut the weight from 2 kgs to 1.7 because of feeding. So all that made me feel bad. So I remember one day when we were seated there, I was doing the kangaroo. I was kangarooing the baby, and I would put music for my baby. And people were looking at me like, what's wrong with this woman? Like, Pauline, are you the one who's putting those baby melodies for your baby? I'm like, yeah, I'm trying to make them for my baby to sleep and everything. Until one lady asked me, no, if you put those soothing music for your baby to sleep, do you think he's going to wake up and feed? You're supposed to, when he's feeding, don't put that music. And I was like, it's my baby at the end of the day, so let me put the music, let my baby sleep through the music and have fun through it. When it comes time to feed, we will get there. So as we were there doing all that, every day I would put music for my baby, those baby tune, they are called baby tune songs, yeah. So they're like lullabies, so encouraging the baby to sleep, because I was told the more the baby sleeps, the more the baby develops, or the more the baby grows. So my husband comes and tells me, have you fed the baby? And I'm like, you can also take him and breastfeed him. No, that thing of me feeding the baby had already affected me so much that anyone who was asking me about feeding my baby, I would just push my stress out on you and tell you to take the baby and feed. So I told him, take the baby and feed, and I left. So the guy was like, are you speaking like that to me? Even he didn't carry the baby. He just removed the nursery clothes that he had worn and went to the room and stayed there. So I stayed there feeding my baby. I was so crying. I was so emotional. Other women were trying to comfort me. I was so emotional. I didn't want to think about anything. And I was like, nurse, please help me here. Help me. I need my baby to feed. I need my baby to feed. Despite how much they wanted to put me there and feed my baby or do that. But the minute that I saw my baby is not feeding, even after 3 hours of staying in the nipple or sleeping in my hands and not feeding, all that shattered me. So the nurse took over, gave the baby the milk. The baby took the milk, and then whatever came out. And the baby, now the nurses told me, we're going to stay with the baby here to be under watch. And I was like, okay, fine. So at the middle of the night, I couldn't sleep. Something bad was telling me something bad is happening to my baby. But again, I had trust with these nurses, because they were so good to us. They never treated us bad. They were so good to our babies. And I was so comfortable. So I would sleep, and then once my mind remembers I have a baby, or I just feel Jay's like sound that he wants to cry, I would wake up and go to the nursery. Even if it's 2, even if it's 3, any time of the night, I would just go and take my baby and feed my baby. So we used to do that all the time. One day I went and stood at the window, and I was looking on the highway, because in Coptic, where we were, you could see the highway, the Ngong Road. And I was asking my baby, you see, now we have been here for 21, we were almost here for 3 weeks, and I can't tell even the direction for going home. I don't know which side to go home. And I feel that it's time now for me and you to go home. We need to go home. Like, we need to go park right now and go home. Now I'm talking to my baby. I'm telling my baby we need to go park and go home. So the nurse was behind me listening to me and told me, Pauline, can you hand over the baby to me? Because I don't trust you when you're holding the baby near the window. And I was like, he's my baby. I need to go with my baby home. We need to go and park and go home. He's like, have you been discharged? When the minute you be discharged and you have the proof that the baby is fine and you have to leave this place, then we'll let you go with the baby. Now that one made me feel bad, and I cried so much. And do you know what happened? I was told by the nurse, Pauline, I don't want to see you the whole day here. All I want from you is milk. Go express the milk and bring it to me. I don't want to see here. And I was banned to enter that nursery that day, because, guys, I was feeling mentally challenged. That's one thing. Number 2, my legs were so swollen. I had not given even time to raise my legs up. My legs was extremely swollen. And another thing is I had not eaten well, because I was not feeding. I was not feeding because I wanted all the time to stay in the hospital and hold my baby. So I was told the whole day not to go there. So all that day, throughout the day, my husband was there for my baby. Yeah, so he could kangaroo him. After some hours, we'd let the baby sleep and come and look and see what I'm doing in the room. Maybe bring me fruits, and then he'd go back into the nursery, and the days goes by. Yeah, like that. So fast forward. Now my baby was not in a too much serious outlook again now. So my baby was taken, he was promoted to another group, like the next room, where now those babies now who just need to be fed and nothing else were taken. So I would go there, we kangaroo. I would kangaroo my baby so well, and feed him. At least now with time, after he was done the reflexes, now my baby would latch, but he would not breastfeed for long. He was just breastfeed for a few seconds and then stop, and then few seconds stop. But now this time around, my baby was sleeping so much. Like, you have to tap on the feet, on the bottom part of the feet to wake the baby up. But my baby was lazy. Let me see, my baby was lazy. He loved sleeping so much. So he was doing that. So he was sleeping too much, and I was feeling bad if I see someone come and hit the toe, like the leg, and try to wake the baby up. If not the nurse, I would feel bad if anyone else that did that. Because for me, I was comfortable with him breastfeeding. Even if it's slow motion, I was very okay with him feeding like that. Yeah, so guys, it was so traumatizing. And until today, if I hear someone talk to me badly, I remember the pain that I've gone through. It hurts me a lot. It hurts me in my heart. I know postpartum depression is real. Before, I never thought people... Okay, I used to hear people saying about postpartum depression, but seriously, for me, I never thought it was that serious. And you never know when you have postpartum depression. It kicks in so strong that sometimes you don't think of anything. I even forgot Guys, I would sometimes even stare at you and I forget everything. Like, even sometimes I was even forgetting names. Sometimes you tell me something I've already forgotten. Like, my mind was everywhere. Like, I had scattered emotions everywhere. Everything was around my baby, feeding and everything. So if you're not discussing about feeding or anything about my baby, I don't think we were in good terms. Yeah. So until today, okay guys, after Nicu, after I said for so long, I had to talk to my daughter, my baby's doctor, and we had to plan, like, if my baby hits 1.8 kgs, we're leaving this place. And he said, okay. So after a few days, I was told my baby is at 1.8 kgs, and I was so happy. So happy. I knew now, tomorrow I'm leaving the place. Only to be told that you can't leave immediately as that. We have to wait for a few more days. Yeah, so that was what was happening. So when we left the nursery, when we left Nico, we came home. Guys, I was so shocked. That was the day my baby fed. Like, that was the day my baby opened the mouth and breastfed directly from me. I was so shocked. Like, super shocked. So until then, my baby has been breastfeeding, no breastfeeding issue, no nothing. And my baby right now, he's grown. My baby is 5 months. Currently, we're speaking at 9 kgs. That's where we are, and I'm so happy. Yeah, but I don't think the postpartum thing is still gone. I don't know. I don't feel anything, but I still feel that much more is needed to be done. I need mental sanity in me. I still need to function. I still have to think. I still have to function, like, to put myself together and raise my baby up. Yeah, so every day is a learning day, every day is a process. And guys, let me know what you went through. Kindly comment down below. Let me know, what did you go through in nursery. But guys, nurses in Coptic, they're truly the best. I can recommend. So thank you so much, and I hope you enjoyed this or you learned something. Until the next video, peace, bye.